Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Main Street. A very special day in our city and a very special day in this historic Main Street corridor, which keeps getting better and better with new museums and expanding restaurants and arts and cultural attractions. I think as many of you are aware, Main Street used to be known as Whiskey Row, as it used to literally be lined with all of the whiskey makers in our community, and preservation-minded folks, especially those at Brown-Forman, have been able to bring it back with the desire or the support of Robert Stern, who is one of the world's greatest architects who redid the Brown-Forman facility here again on Main Street. It's appropriate that September is the Bourbon Heritage Month across the United States, because bourbon is truly the culture and craft of making it is truly something that's special and appropriate for the nation to take notice of, most specifically for them to take notice of that it happens here in Kentucky. Bourbon is a unique part of the Louisville history and will play an increasing role in the tourism future of our city. The addition of announcing today that we will help make Main Street an even stronger attraction for both our residents and for our tourists. One of the great chapters of Louisville's storied history is bourbon. Louisville is the home of America's first bottled bourbon, Old Forester, the only bourbon still in existence to be sold before, and not during, but after, and during, and after Prohibition. For medicinal purposes during Prohibition. We're really pleased to have the master distiller for Old Forester and Brown-Forman. Chris Morris is with us. I'd like to bring Chris up, and then we'll hear from Jim Wood, because not only are we having this urban bourbon trail opportunity, but also we're going to be using Louisville, much like San Francisco is for the wine country. It will also be the location for the kickoff and the visitors to come and go out on the bourbon trail beyond the urban bourbon trail. But we're here today to talk about the urban bourbon trail. We have the master distiller from Old Forester and Brown-Forman, Chris Morris. Chris?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and to all of you for joining us this morning to recognize two important anniversaries and two significant contributions to the bourbon whiskey industry, to the city of Louisville, and the Commonwealth of Kentucky. The first anniversary we celebrate is the birth of George Garvin Brown on this very date in 1846. George Garvin Brown was born in Munfordville, Kentucky, and he moved to Louisville during the Civil War to gain an education, and here he remained to enter the world of business. And here in Louisville, he made two very important contributions to our industry. The first was his creation of Old Forester bourbon back in 1870. Old Forester was conceived as a medicinal whiskey brand and was the first bourbon to be sold exclusively in glass bottles, a major innovation at the time. Old Forester was first bottled at 322 West Main, and today, as the mayor alluded, is the only bourbon brand still distilled, matured, and bottled in Louisville. It truly is Louisville's bourbon. George Garvin Brown's second contribution was the establishment of Brown-Forman. Brown-Forman, like Old Forester, has its roots here on West Main, and it's been a proud citizen of Louisville since 1870. Together, Old Forester and Brown-Forman have survived world wars, the Great Depression, and Prohibition. The last census taken before the advent of Prohibition in 1920 shows there were over 89 whiskey companies headquartered here in Louisville, and of those, 52 were headquartered on West Main, earning it the nickname Whiskey Row. And of those 89 plus firms, only Brown-Forman is still in existence today, still with a presence on Whiskey Row here at 626 West Main. So what better duo to celebrate the 75th anniversary of the repeal of Prohibition this year than with Brown-Forman and Old Forester? To recognize the fact that Brown-Forman is the only American spirits company to have operated before, during, and after Prohibition, and that its founding brand, Old Forester, has been sold continuously since 1870, we would like to present Mr. Wood and Mayor Abramson with a limited edition bottle of Old Forester Repeal. Old Forester packaged like it was during Prohibition in a medicinal whiskey bottle, a symbol of its rich heritage and taste. Got your bottles? All right. to further elaborate on how Brown-Forman, now you got it.
Pretty good.
To further elaborate on how Brown-Forman and Old Forester are enhancing the bourbon tourism experience along Louisville's Urban Bourbon Trail, I'd like to bring up the president of the Louisville Convention and Visitors Bureau, Mr. Jim Wood.
Hopefully that'll be there when I leave, okay? Back in 2007, the Convention and Visitors Bureau began actively marketing the Kentucky Bourbon Trail in partnership with the Kentucky Distillers Association in our new Visitor Information Center that we opened up on 4th and Jefferson Street. This past May, we successfully launched the Urban Bourbon Trail, which features 8 Louisville establishments to complement Kentucky's famous Bourbon Trail, and now there are 8 distilleries that the trail comprises. Today we're excited about adding Old Forester to Louisville's Urban Bourbon Trail. So right here at 626 West Main Street, on the former Whiskey Row site that you heard the mayor talk about earlier, we will add a new stop on Louisville's Urban Bourbon Trail. Visitors to the Old Forester display will get a taste of what whiskey making was like in Louisville in the 1870s under George Garvin Brown's direction, and follow the Old Forester brand to modern times, complete with a replica of the giant Old Forester bottle, which sits atop the Brown-Forman offices. And just like the Louisville Slugger Museum and Factory, the bat that they have out there right now, which is really iconic for people to have their picture taken with all day long, we think people are going to be here all day long as well, having their pictures taken with the Old Forester bottle on the water tower. So it's going to be a great addition right here to Main Street. Bronze plaques will be added to each of the current 8 members' locations on the Urban Bourbon Trail. Now, this is a replica of the plaque. It's not bronze, but we'll have bronze plaques that will go on each one of those locations. And as we add new locations to the Urban Bourbon Trail, we'll be putting these bronze plaques so that visitors, both locally here and coming in from out of town, can certainly see the signature of the Urban Bourbon Trail, so that they too can get an opportunity to experience the trail and all that it has to offer. And finally, the Brown-Forman Bluegrass Cooperage. This is a great addition to what we're adding to the Urban Bourbon Trail today, where the new oak barrels are handmade for the aging of spirits, will now be open for tours through a partnership with Mint Julep Tours. And you see the bus right behind us with Mint Julep Tours. This is going to be a great opportunity. There's only one of 2 cooperages that are made here in America. And this is great that right here in Louisville, Kentucky, that visitors will have an opportunity now to tour the unique experience and the hand craftsmanship that goes into making these unique barrels that age the whiskey. At that site, over 1,600 barrels a day are produced, with over 400,000 barrels produced on an annual basis. So with tourism being the 3rd largest industry in our state, enhancements like these to our current tourism product will provide locals and visitors alike another unique experience to enjoy while they're here in town. This is yet another example of corporate leadership. So on behalf of the Louisville's entire hospitality industry, I want to personally thank the executives of Brown-Forman today for your leadership and your ongoing contributions you have made to make Louisville a better place to live and to visit. The addition of the Old Forester brand and tours of the Bluegrass Cooperage will without a doubt be greatly received and are great additions to Louisville's hospitality industry. With that, I'd like to bring the mayor back up.
Just remember, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Chris, if you'd come up, we have proclaimed September 2nd as Old Forester George Garvin Brown Day in our community. We've called on all our folks to take notice of the tradition, the history, and the outstanding, beautiful development that's here to really appreciate what Brown-Forman has meant to this community for generations and generations. Chris, thank you so much. We'll answer any questions if anybody has any regarding this announcement. Okay. Thank you all. Thank you very much.